Look at this, beautiful collard greens. Growing them in the pot. And I'll tell you what, sometimes I just grab one of those, look, in comparison, look, there's my hand. This is a gorgeous plant. Look down in the crown of that, look. Oh, amazing plant. Let me tell you, you grab one of these leaves and I just eat them. And you can really taste the bloody difference between a store-bought and the one that grows right out of the ground, all organic. Anyway, why am I filming collard greens, I hear you ask? Well, those that know me and know me well, and some of the YouTubers out there as well, I've made mention about doing a cooking channel, all-round plant-based food. Now, it's going to be my wife's. It's not going to be my channel, but I wanted to get something started, so I thought, you know what? I'm about to do a butternut squash, and I want to make a soup out of it. And this is all about keeping things kind of on the simple side, as much as you possibly can. I mean, I've got some herbs here. That's what I'm going to show you in a minute. But you can buy these herbs, grow them yourself, guys. I'll tell you what. Even if you grow them in a pot, you can do this. Some base herbs, grow them in. There's nothing better than going over and picking some herbs, and I eat them. I just eat them. But anyway, so we're going to take a little thyme, which I have right here. So we're going to take some thyme, which I've got growing right there. And the one thing I've noticed with thyme is it always seems to want to go towards like brick, concrete of some kind. I know when I grew it in England, I had a little piece of it and I put a big old stone and it wanted to go the same way and cling to the stone. So, but anyway, we're going to trim off some of this and then we'll go inside and I'll show you some of the other things in there. So we're just going to trim off some of these, some of this thyme. Oh, we've got some incoming crows. You can probably hear them. But I just like to go down to the bottom. Now, sometimes I'll just grab a bunch, which is what I'm going to do. But and then you can go to the bottom of these. I like to just pick them sometimes, just pick them off where I want them. But go near the bottom, trim it off. Little pieces of thyme, and I tell you, it's not until you get down. When you get down to this bottom bit, they can be a little bit more woody in the bottom. Let me just show you down the bottom. A little bit more woody. But as you get up here, this is real tender up here, and you can just, especially if you're blending up, guys, and you don't need to worry about, herbs in your mix. I mean, you can blend that up quite nicely. It'll blend up, and it's very, very tender. But absolutely, the smell coming off of that is amazing, absolutely amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and trim some more. Just so I got a little bit for the, oh, there's a little bit there. Just so I got some for the soup. Look at this. It's always good to liven your plant up a little bit, right? Liven it up a little bit. Sometimes I'll just untangle it a little. God, the smell is amazing. All right. Just loosen it up a little bit, let the air get through it. Look at that, beautiful. Well, that'll thank you a lot, let me tell you. Plants like to be loved too. Let me tell you, I talk to these guys too. Man, I can smell that thyme, it's gorgeous. So, now, got some thyme. I don't really want to overpower the thyme, I just want a little bit in the background, so I only got a little bit. And we're going to go in, and I've got the oven kind of switched on. Well, not kind of, I have. I've got the oven switched on, and I've got that. I'm going to roast the butternut squash in the skins. You'll see what I'm doing in a minute. And I'm going to put some garlic on there so the garlic roasts with it, and then we'll take it from there. All right, I'm in my kitchen, and some, you know what, don't overthink this, guys, right? Because, yeah, I've got some base ingredients here, but sometimes I'll put different things in. I don't really plan any one recipe. I'm like, oh, I'll add a bit of that or a bit of this, but I'll do it as I go along so that you can see what I'm doing. But I'm about to take the butternut squash, score it up a little bit, and then we're gonna bang on some of the garlic, which I'm gonna put with some just vegan butter, and we'll get it in the oven and start roasting this puppy off. All right, so get yourself a small paring knife, a nice sharp one. Make sure you got a nice sharp knife, guys. You want a sharp one, right? Otherwise, you're gonna end up slipping, and you don't want to be slipping. But all we're gonna do is we're just gonna go down a little bit. Don't have to go all the way in, guys. Don't have to go all the way down. I'm kind of using my finger as a guide. So, what's that? About an inch or so, maybe, if that. Just scoring it through. Just giving it a score, nothing major. All right, turn it around if you have to, and then go in the opposite direction. Like I said, if you need to use your thumb as a guide. But all you're doing, you just want to score that down, guys. Watch your fingers. Don't go crazy towards your fingers. If you're going towards your fingers, stop. Don't go any further. But here we go. So we're just going to score that down. See how I'm going away from my bloody fingers now? Let's just score it down. Again, nothing major. Go the opposite direction. Let's go this way so you can see it. Go in the opposite direction. Hopefully you can see that. Probably better this way. Yeah, just want to score it up. You just want that to get down there a little bit so your butter gets in there with your garlic. I like to roast it up in there so it's all nice and lovely jubbly. So that's the scoring. Now we're just going to put some. I'm going to mix some chopped garlic and in with some vegan butter. I'm going to spread that all over the top. So let me get to chopping the garlic. I'm not going to show you how to chop garlic. You know how to chop garlic. Like I said, this is a no frills thing. You know how to chop your garlic up. Going to mix it in with some butter. If you want to use regular butter, use regular butter. I use vegan butter because of me being plant-based. But get your garlic in there and don't be chintzy on your garlic. Get plenty of garlic in there. Remember, we want to do a nice roasted garlic butternut squash soup, right? And we're going to roast this up in the oven. So you want to get your garlic and butter on there, and then we're going to roast it up in the oven. Hey guys, there's all different types of garlic crushers that you can get out there. This is pretty much the standard that we used to use in the professional kitchens, but there's all kinds of ones now where you put your cloves in there, you put that on top, you crush it, and you grind it. Does a really, really good job, which is probably the one I'm going to use, and I will show you this one. But this one is, there's nothing wrong with this one, guys. There's nothing wrong. You just open it up, put your garlic clove in, close that lid down, crush it, scrape it off. But there's absolutely no reason why you can't use this, but I'm gonna be using this one, and I hope that's in the shot okay. Because what you do is you open up the lid, you put your garlic cloves in. Now don't overload it. I'm just going to show you with the 3. You put that lid on like that, you crush it down. If you have to bang it, sometimes I'll give it a bang on the table, but then when you turn it, you start turning it back and forth. I don't even know what I said there, back and forth. What the bloody hell's that? As you keep going there, it's getting a little easier and it's starting to grind it down. Now, the other way, of course, is use your knife, which I'll show you. But crush that down. Now it's nice and slick. Now you can see it, so you've got all your crushed garlic. I don't want to pulverise this down into nothing. I want it to be, you know, at the end of the day, I want it to roast down. So then when it becomes blended, it's going to have a nice roasty garlic taste. But you just scrape this off, which I'm going to scrape that off into there. And once I get that into there, I'll start mixing up. I'm thinking I'm probably going to mix the thyme in with it, the beautiful herbs that we've just got out of the garden, which again you can buy in supermarkets as well. Always recommend growing it, very easy to grow. So we're basically going to make it like a garlicky, herby butter, and then we're going to be spreading that on top of the butternut. But let me show you how you can do garlic with a knife. Oi, oi, guys. Right, I'm going to show you how to chop the garlic down. I've used these knives professionally for years. Once you get used to Asian cleavers, absolutely an amazing, versatile blade to use. Obviously, the regular kitchen knife that probably everybody has in their arsenal, in their drawer somewhere. Yes, these are these are the things to use. Obviously, if you haven't got one of these knives, I will do it with this knife just so that those people that don't have these knives know what to do. But these are a really nice tool to have if you get yourself a Chinese cleaver and learn how to use one of these, because you also have a platform right here, a blade that you're able to scoop up your products and transport as well. So I've had a number of different ones throughout the years. This one is always in my drawer. I've always got it. I've just chopped stuff up with it, so it's a little bit messed up. But and one year my wife got me this one, and yeah, absolutely beautiful. Especially for what we're about to do now as well, because we want to crush these garlic cloves down. And what you do is you use a little bit of salt, sea salt, but I like to use this no salt alternative is actually potassium. Potassium helps lower the blood pressure, guys. Now, I'm not a doctor, so don't take my word for anything. But if you go and look things up about potassium, we don't get enough in our diet. And I'm always conscientious of salt, even though every now and again I use a little salt like I'm going to do with this recipe. But mostly I use this. Probably 99% of the time I use this. It's good. Takes a little getting used to again because it's not straight up salt. You might need a little bit more of it. But I love this stuff because you can season things and lower your blood pressure as well at the same time. So, but again, don't take my word for it. Go and check it out. All right, so first things first. Putting a little pile of, hopefully I'm in the right area. Yep. Okay, this is a no frills video, guys. I'm hoping that you, because I can't actually see what I'm actually filming. I have to keep adjusting and looking. So, little pile of sea salt, or like I just showed you, the potassium salt. Place your garlic clove on the top. I probably need to take my wrist marker off for this one, to tell you the truth. So let me take that off first and put that up there. You want to put the thick part of the blade on the garlic clove, and you either want to bang or press down hard. I'm going to press down hard so it doesn't go all over the place. But what you're trying to do is you want to extract all those beautiful natural oils out of that garlic and the flavour that comes with it. And you don't really want to chop it too much because then you're just chopping it down into your board. So, crush it, as you can see, right? And then what I like to do is I like to give it a quick chop. And then I'll start to crush it. So you want to use this, put the blade down flat, as you can see, blade flat. And what I do is I will pivot. So you take the edge of your blade and you're basically crushing that garlic down using the salt. Just keep crushing it down. Usually if you need a little more, add a little more. There's nothing wrong with it. It's all going to be flavour going into that end product. At the end of the day, It's all going into that product, right? Chop it up a little more. Because you don't want this to be dust. You sure don't want this to be dust. Wipe your blade off. Crush it down some more. My board keeps moving. Should have put a cloth under it, but oh well. You see that, guys? Now I've got it to kind of where the crushed consistency. I don't want it to go really much further than this. Chop it down, scoop it up, hence why those big, flat Asian blades, Asian cleaver blades are awesome. But that's where I want to get to. And then I'm going to put that in there. And let me get to crushing the other one down. Oi, so as you can see, and I'm going to show you, here's one of those beautiful, beautiful thyme leaves that I took off with the stem. And basically all you do, remember, this piece up here is really nice and tender. As you can see, it gets a little bit more woody as it goes down. So what I do is I go in the opposite direction of where the leaves are joining. And just pull that off like that. And then just sprinkle it on your food. These bits here, you can just pick off. We can use those. And then these bits, I'm just putting down. I've put a bit of foil around it, mainly just to hold it together so it doesn't wobble either way. You could take a slice off the bottom, but why do that? Right? Put them in there. Use what you have. Use your resources. If you've got the skins there to keep everything together, then why go through and start, messing around trying to cut the bottom off, right? Use these pieces. I tuck down in there. It all makes a difference. See how it's going in the opposite way. That bit come off because it's nice and tender. As you can see, like right there. All right, guys. All right, so that's what we got. We got the thyme all on there now. Missed a bit. We'll just throw that on there. We've got the thyme on there now, the garlic butter, vegan garlic butter. It's all been scored. Now, you can do this in advance, guys, the actual right up in roasting it off as well. And then just take all which you'll see once it's all roasted, but once we scoop it all out of there and in a bowl, and then you're ready to do whatever you want with it. You could eat it straight up like that if you wanted to mash it all together. But I'm going to be making a soup, so I'm going to be using the whole thing, apart from the skin, of course. But everything that you see on here now that I've put on there is going to become part of the end product. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get these thrown in the oven. And I've got it on a 350. I didn't know whether to go 350 or 375, but I'm going to be doing this nice and slowly. So you want to get this in your oven, put it in the middle. Yeah, nice even temperature in the middle. Unless you've got a convection oven, which this is a convection oven, but I don't use it too much. But put it in the middle of the oven. You get a nice even temperature in the middle, and then we're going to roast that off. I'm going to give it an hour, and then we'll come and have a look at it. We'll just put this on put the timer on, which I'm going the wrong bloody way. Anybody can go the right way. Okay, so we'll put it on for an hour, and then we're going to come back and check it out. Oi, guys. All right, listen. I want to show you how to chop up an onion. And I might have a little bit of shadowing in this, but, hey, you live and learn, right? So, cutting up an onion now. I'm going to be using, I'm not exactly using the correct knife on this one, but I use a knife that I feel comfortable with. Now, really the good thing, the best knife to use with something like this is your chef's knife, your kitchen knife, right? Your big ass kitchen knife, flat bladed kitchen knife. I mean, that's the better thing to use, but I don't. I use a different knife altogether. And it's only because I'm comfortable with it. But you want to cut your onion in half through the root. Now you're left with the root, as you can see right here. Now, if you was wanting to what we called in the kitchens lyonnaise the onion, which is slicing it where you're going to do fried onion, you take that root out. And the way you take that root out is you lay that down like that. You place your knife at a slight angle, right, like a 45-degree angle, and you cut straight through. But I'm not going to do that because I want the onion intact as most as I can anyway, the most I can anyway. So you're going to cut through, there's your root, lay the root away from you, right, away from you. And you're basically, some people say follow the lines of the onion, right? If you want it really, really like Michelin star, then yeah, okay, follow the lines of the onion. But what we're going to do is we're going to not go all the way through. I want you to see that. We're not going all the way through. We're just going so far down, and that piece of onion is actually intact. Now, depending on the spacing that you do across the onion is going to depend on what size dice that you actually want. So I'm not actually going to dice this because I want it for soup, but I want to show you how to dice. So you're going to go right the way across without going all the way through, as much to the end of that root as you possibly can. As you can see, look, without going through. Watch your fingers. So we got to that stage where we got the slices all the way through. Hopefully you can see that. Right? Now, you lay the root to the left of you. This is if you're right-handed. Obviously, if you're left-handed, it's around the other way, but I'm right-handed. So now I lay the root to the left of me, and I take my knife. Now, it depends on what you're actually doing is you're taking the knife, try and do it this way, and you're going like that, and like that, in towards the root. Again, without going all the way through. So depending on how many layers of this onion you want, again, depends on the size of the dice. The more, normally we put 2 in here, 1 there and then 1 underneath it, which I'm going to show you. But if you just do the 1, you're going to get a bigger dice. And what I'm going to do is you're going to see it's going to be a smaller dice. So you're going to take your blade. I don't know how to show you this. You're going to take your blade, keeping away from your fingers as much as you can. Put it on the top. Keep the blade away, and you're going to slice through. You're going to slice through, guys, but you're not going to go all the way. Right? You're going to go to there. And then I'm going to do that on the next one down. So I'm going to put it just below that. As you can see, that's my first layer. This is my second. I'm going between the bottom of it and the next layer up. And I'm going all the way through there towards the back without going all the way through. Now you want to hold. Now you see the importance of that root because it's holding everything together. Right? Now we're going to take our blade and we're just going to run it across the top. And what you'll get, again, depending on how far you want to go, but you're going to get diced onion, guys. Now, I've done this really slow, and as you get used to it, you'll end up doing this like a lot quicker. And then what I do is I just cut around my root bit. You could put that in stocks, soups, whatever, right? But here's your dice. Diced onion. Yeah? Obviously, yeah, you'll get bits. Fair play. In fact, that's a bit of an outside stringy kind of skinny bit. But now you've got diced onion. Yeah? And depending on, like, I'll do it again because, again, I'm using this in soup, so it's no big deal. But depending, again, like I said, how far you keep these, that's a smaller dice or kind of a medium dice. But if you want to go larger, bring your knife a little bit further away. Again, not cutting all the way through. Do the one slice through the middle. Again, not going all the way through. And then when you cut across, now you've got a bigger dice. All right, guys? Now you've got a bigger dice. Bigger, right? Much bigger. But we're going to be using these. I've got some more onions to cut up. And I just wanted to show you like how to dice and cut up an onion. You know, took some taking off some skin every now and again to before I got it to where I wanted to, you know, where I'd say, yeah, that's what I see on TV. Okay, I know you've seen the red onion on there. of course. But, you know, I like the different flavours, really. I think there's a little bit, you know, when you put these in a sandwich, they're nice and sweet. They're not sort of acidic to me. Now, if you really want the ultimate, get yourself a nice big Vidalia onion. Get yourself a few of those, because they're really nice and sweet, and it really will add to your soup. I had just regular yellow onions and a red onion, and I just like the contrast of the two onions, so that's what I'm putting in the soup. All right. Use this beautiful product right here. Coconut oil, great for you, organic. Right, use the coconut oil. I hope my lens is right. I've got my lens set right. I might have to adjust it a little bit. We get this from BJ's, but I'm sure you can get it at like Costco and all kinds of, you know, wherever. Adds a nice little flavour to your food, guys, and way, way better for you than that vegetable shit that everybody uses, or the canola oil, or all that crap. That stuff is not good for you, processed oils. And they have their place. Every now and again we might freaking deep fry something and use a bit of veggie oil, but mostly when cooking it's either a good virgin olive oil or or the coconut oil. So there we go. We're going to put some of that in the pot. Get the old heat on. I've already had it on a little bit, so you don't want it too hot. But what I like to do is get myself a bit of, again, don't worry about this. This is all going to come together. And then I'm going to throw the onion in there that we cut up. Now with the onions, what I like to do, I like to cook them nice and slow as I can. You don't want to go crazy slow where you're after an hour, you're not bleeding getting anywhere, but I just like starting to cook the onions down a little bit slow, because as you cook, you can hear that singing. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm trying to get my mic down there so you can hear it, but you hear the singing? Yeah, that's the moisture in the vegetable. And what's going to happen is that singing will kind of quieten down, and then the sugars will start coming out, which is where we want to be. Allowing those sugars to come through out of that onion. Now, if you had a little celery, you could, whoops, one just flew out. If you had a little celery, you could put a little celery in here if you wanted. But I really like an onion base. Whenever I'm going to do something, I'm normally thinking onion as the base, or onion going in there somewhere. But you just want to let that sit, guys. Just let it sit, let it sing a little bit, give it a little stir. You don't want too many people burn their onions. I'm going to turn the temperature down just a little bit. You don't want to burn your onions, guys. When you burn your onions, there's a total different taste to it. There's a bitterness to it. If you get that sugar going, and you bring those sugars out of your onions instead of burning them, now you're actually frying an onion and getting that beautiful taste, and that's going to be going in as a bit of a base for our butternut squash. All right, as you can see, it's starting to not really sing as much. It's kind of settling out, and I don't know if you can see, but it's starting to get a little bit. There's like a little bit of sugar coming out now. You can see it kind of a little bit thicker on the bottom. As I move it, it's not singing as much. Some of the sugars this is when you've got to start watching your onions, because as those sugars start coming out, you want to start watching it a little bit more, because that sugar will burn real quick. And then basically you've got a bunch of charcoaled up onion. So at this point you just want to, every now and again, keep your eye on it, keep a little stir going every now and again, and then gradually cook that down until it starts to go brown. All right, I don't know if you can see it, but there's some pieces in here that are just starting to tinge up now. They're just starting to get that little bit of a brown on them, so adjust your oven, turn it down a bit. The sugars are starting to move through now. As you can tell, it's a little quiet. It's not so sizzly, not so singing. But if you look at the onion, it's starting to go a little bit more golden. That's what we're looking for. Keep cooking that down. All right, as you can see, it's a little bit more golden right now. This is a delicate game of stirring, adjusting the temperature. The more the sugars come out, the little lower the heat, letting it tick, letting it sit. But you don't want it to sit there too long. You want to get it moving again because you want to start cooking those sugars without burning the sugars. The smell is amazing, and the smell coming out of the oven with the butternut squash and the garlic and herbs, wow, absolutely awesome. I wish you could smell this. But you just keep it, give it a little move. See, it's starting to go a little quicker now. Starting to get there. As you can see, right? It's starting to get there now. Got to be a little bit more cautious. Stir it a little bit more often. Turn the temperature down a little bit. You don't want it to sit too long because it will scorch and burn real quick now. As it just cooks down to that nice golden colour, where the sugars are being caramelised and the onion is actually being cooked and not burnt. So many people burn onions. You know, the more your temperature is up there, the more you're going to want to keep an eye on that and keep it moving, because if you don't keep it tossing around and you leave it in a really hot pan, it's going to burn real quick. The sugars are going to be burned on the outside, but your onion's still going to be raw on the inside, where you've had the temperature up too long, or too high I should say, and you've not kept the food moving. This, if you want flavour to get out of those onions, you want to cook this down really slow, this part. All right, hopefully you can hear me now. So, I've got the squash out. I've taken it out of the oven and I've basically scraped out, and I've put it in my pan with the onions and the base that I made. And then I'm adding some vegetable stock. Now, you can make your vegetable stock, guys. Obviously, you can make your vegetable stock. It's not that difficult to make. But if you want something on the quick, you can always get this vegetable stock in stores. And what's your salt content? I'm actually going to be mixing this with water. I'm not just using straight up vegetable stock. So I'm going to get to that stage next. All right, so here's our next stage. I've got the stock in here. I've used about, I don't know, about 2/3 of the carton of that. And then I've done about another, it's probably about another, yeah, there's 32 ounces in this. I've probably used about another one of those in water, maybe a bit more. But it all depends on what kind of consistency you like in your soup, right? I mean, some people might even like it just like that, you know, season it up. But we're going to be pureeing this one down, so I might put a little bit more stock, a little bit more water in there, and then I'm going to cook it some and let it reduce a little bit, and then I'm going to be blending this up. So hopefully this will come up to the boil, which it will. Of course it will. No, hopefully. I'm going to bring this up, bring the heat up a little bit, and let this come up to temperature, let it reduce down a little bit, and then I'm going to be blending this up. All right, guys, so this is the end product. I'm just going to put a little vegan or plant-based cream in it, which I will show you over here. Actually, I'll show you in a minute once I get it, grab it. But that, it right there is lovely consistency. You can see it's creamy. I put it through the blender. or what we call a liquidizer. But you can see it's lovely creamy consistency already, and that's just from that slow cooking. The squash itself actually ended up taking about, I had it in there for about an hour and 40 minutes roughly, but you can cut that down. What I would probably do next time is up my temperature and cut my timing down quite a bit. But I wanted it to roast nice and slowly and get all that garlicky butter all through that vegetable before we scooped it out. Put it in the pot with the base. I took the foil that you saw the squash sitting in, and there were some nice juices in the bottom of that foil. So I made a little lip in the foil, little water, just mix it around on the bottom, just get it all loosened up, and then I poured that in there too before I blended it all up. So hopefully you're going to enjoy making that. Again, you can adjust it to what you want. It doesn't have to be the way I've done it. You can add, take away, add different. You can even curry it up. It's really nice curried up. Put a little curry powder in. When I put that onion powder in, and just give it a little stir around and just work that before you put, you know, other ingredients in there and your liquids in there. But if you make that nice little bit of a curry base, it's lovely. Make sure you cook your curry powder. All right, guys, have a good one. Stay the course. Namaste.